Good. Okay, let me begin by very simply saying public safety is a crisis situation in the city of Milwaukee. In the last 2 weeks, we have seen 3 law enforcement professionals shot while protecting this community. That is unprecedented, and the crisis this city is facing is unprecedented in our 175-year history of the city of Milwaukee. Over the last several years, I can't believe how much Milwaukee has deteriorated. From reckless driving to record-breaking homicides, we have broken the record the last 2 years in a row. And we just haven't broke that record by 1 or 2 homicides. It's by dozens and dozens. We lead the nation in stolen vehicles. And yet, what do we hear from our elected leaders? Essentially nothing. Recently, Acting Mayor Cavalier Johnson has proposed additional $5 million be poured into the Office of Violence Prevention. I must say this is a questionable agency. I can't even tell you in all my years at City Hall what they've accomplished substantively to reduce violence. And yet Governor Evers is proposed $8 million additional to go into the Office of Violence Prevention. That is not the answer. Also, Acting Mayor Johnson has proposed diversity training for our police officers. Our police officers have received a lot of diversity training. They don't necessarily need any more. That's not the answer. The problems in Milwaukee are not our police department. They are our criminals and our soft on crime policies that have let criminal after criminal after criminal off with not even a slap on the wrist anymore. And they are terrorizing this community. They have emboldened our criminals to the point where they don't seem to be any concern about being held accountable. Let me say this. These individuals need to be held accountable. Our community has an expectation that our criminals will be held accountable for the crimes they commit. And you can't shoot a cop and you can't shoot an innocent person if you're behind bars in jail. And that's what needs to occur. Several things that I believe need to occur. Our state legislature needs to move forward quickly on mandatory bail legislation that's going to hold these criminals accountable. We need to work closely with our partners in the federal government. I'd like to know, and I believe this community needs to be told what our FBI, what our DEA, what our ATF is doing in conjunction with our police department to get this crisis under control. And I will say another thing. John Chisholm, our district attorney, needs to come forward and tell this community precisely what's going on and why these individuals, one after another, has been let out on our streets to continue to terrorize this community. And so, with that, I will open it up to any questions.
Mr. Donovan, in the recent poll put out by PPP, they have you coming in at second place next to Cavalier Johnson. Can you speak about that?
Well, I'm very pleased with that. We are working very, very hard to move our campaign forward. This is a golden opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for this community to make a change that'll make a difference. that we get Milwaukee moving in the right direction. It is imperative that we do this. And I would urge people to go to my website, bobdonovanformayor.com, and help in any way possible to get Milwaukee moving and start restoring order and stability to our neighborhoods.
What do you think about the current acting mayor, Keller Johnson's comments that if he's elected mayor, he would keep staffing levels where they're at right now with the Milwaukee Police Department? He wants to put more money into sensitivity training, the prevention program, things like that. What are your thoughts about those?
Well, first of all, we have reduced manpower within the City of Milwaukee Police Department by hundreds. Those officers need to be restored, first and foremost. This department needs the appropriate level of staffing to maintain order and stability on our streets and neighborhoods, and that simply is not occurring now. They cannot keep up. You have a 50-50 chance of getting away with murder in the city of Milwaukee because we are 50 detectives short of where we should be, and they simply can't investigate these crimes. But in addition to that, then you have a district attorney and our judges that are soft on crime and don't hold people accountable. This all has to change, and it can be done with the right leadership in the mayor's office.
Do you think D.A. Chisholm should step down?
I believe John Chisholm needs to do one of two things. He needs to come out and explain his policies to this community and explain why criminal after criminal is let loose on our street. And if he doesn't do that, yes, he does need to step down. We need to move on and get Milwaukee back to order again.
Can you give us specifics? If you're elected mayor, specifically, what would you do within the Milwaukee Police Department?
First, they've got to have the resources, the manpower necessary to do the job, respond to calls for help, the 911 calls. But in addition to that, I have long been a supporter of foot patrol, bicycle officers, the old beat cop. Walking the beat, getting to know the residents he or she is protecting, and the residents getting to know that officer. There is no better way. Study after study indicates that it's no better way to improve police-community relations than with that kind of policing. All right, thank you.